and we are live right now on the Pure West Facebook page, as well as on the app and on your smart speakers, and it is good to be with you. And coming up, we will be joined by former Haverfordwest RFC winger Lisa Neumann, who played in all 4 matches for Wales at the Women's World Cup, including a nail-biting win over Scotland and 2 tough battles with the All Blacks. We'll talk to Lisa about her World Cup experience and how the women's game in Wales continues to make big progress. Also this evening, we'll kick off with local football after a great win for Haverfordwest at Flint on Saturday and impressive performances from some Pembrokeshire sides in the West Wales Cup at the weekend. And we'll look back on the weekend's autumn international rugby, and with the Football World Cup just a fortnight away, how are you feeling ahead of the tournament in Qatar? That is all to come on the show between now and 9 o'clock. In the studio, ready and raring to go, Fraser, Gordon and Tom. Evening to you all. How are we doing, Fraser? All right?
Not too bad, Ben. And got out for a bit on Saturday before work. Watched the first half of Goodwick. They had way too much for Clydach in the West Wales Cup. And then Sunday did the Cardigan 10K in a bit of wind and a bit of rain about. And Gordon will know what I mean when I say those hills haven't flattened over the years down there, have they, Gordon?
Well, I was going to ask you about this actually, Fraser. I meant to ask you off air, but just quickly as you brought it up, how did the 10K go?
Ah, look, very, very tough race. You know, you felt like you start off on an uphill slope, feel like you're running out of cardigan, and then you seem to feel like I think I'd done 10k by the time I got to the top of the hill, and the feeling was then I thought I'd accelerate then on the downhill on the way home, but I didn't because there was a stiff wind coming up in my face. So I got home and I roll on next year when I actually qualify for the over 40 category in that one. It was a tough one. Some good runners there. Good race.
Yeah, great work. Yeah, in tricky conditions. Gordon, evening to you. How are you? Did you have a good weekend?
I'm very good, Ben. Yeah, I saw a bit of football at the weekend as well. It was very wet in Haverfordwest on Saturday morning. We were all thinking a lot of the games were going to be off, which they were actually, but the 4G pitch saved Merlin's Bridge, but they perhaps would have thought they should have stayed on the racecourse for this one because they had a bit of a druking. And I might upset the boys by saying that, but Roxburgh was too hot for them on the day. They were 3-0 up at half-time and they ran out 4-0 winners, and worthy winners at that, to be fair.
And you do feel we're heading to that time of year now, don't you, when the all-weather surface is going to come in quite handy with the wet and windy weather ahead. And Tom, evening to you, our resident Liverpool fan. I'll give you the 3 points yesterday. Tottenham did our usual thing of not turning up for the first 45 minutes and then having a go in the second half.
I did see your tweet actually, and I found myself in Liverpool for other reasons actually. I was at Aintree where Sean Bowen was racing on the Saturday as well, so a little local link far away from home, which was nice.
Oh, good stuff. By the way, how is that not a penalty in the first half? When Trent Alexander-Arnold nudged, when the ball's miles away, if you're allowed to do that nowadays, the game's gone, I think. No support.
Well, yeah. When you look at the incident with Manchester City, did any of you guys see that game? Very similar. Ben, I did feel sorry for you there, mate.
I thought it was foolish.
I thought it was a good second.
Only you. I wasn't sorry for Tottenham, but only you.
The game's gone. I'd like the Cancelo one and the Trent one were identical, and Cancelo gets the red card, and you think, well, is that a VAR problem, or is it the people actually watching the video and how they interpret the rules of the game?
Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? And we'll argue all night about it, but the decision's made now, and you have to abide by the referee's decision.
Well, I've had my say about it now, so I feel better. But let's get into some of the local football, shall we? And let's start with Haverfordwest. And Gordon, if you want to kick us off with this, because that was a really good win, wasn't it? It was a long journey to Flint. I think they went up on the Friday, and the reason I know that is because I follow Tony Pennock on Strava, and I've noticed he's getting out running quite a bit, and he did a run.
He actually started running on Monday, Ben, and he got up there by Saturday morning. Well done, Tony. You did brilliantly, mate. But no, all jokes aside, it was a win that was needed. It's Haverfordwest's first win away from home this season. And it couldn't have come at a better time, to be honest with you, because Newtown, who were on the same points as them, they're still on the same points because they won as well. So it was a good job they won. It was a tough game as expected, but they dug in. They went down to 10 men. Dylan Rees received a nasty stamp, to be honest with you. And then we were awarded a penalty. A bruise was taken down in the box, and Jordan Davis stepped up and I wouldn't say he confidently put it away, but it went underneath the keeper and into the net. And they kept a clean sheet and they took the 3 points away back to the Bridge Meadow, which was great.
Yeah, it was important, Fraser, wasn't it, actually? Because we've been really impressed with Tony Pennock. We had him on the show. I thought he was excellent. He's stuck to his philosophy, but he would have wanted to have got a result with me on Saturday. And to go to Flint, it says a bit about the character as well.
Yeah, of course he needed a result. You know, he's been under pressure. The squad have been under pressure, and by that's not any speculating about his position in any way. I think Rob Edwards has always backed his managers, and there's no suggestion he's going to do the same with Tony Pennock now. But when you have a run that they'd had, 1 win in 10, 1 in 11, whatever it was, you are under pressure. You know, at any level of football, and they did need a result, and they did need to stop that rot. And to go there on a difficult day in those conditions, on a long journey like that, and get it there should boost them immensely now. And it's still a difficult few games ahead. I think they go to Airbus next in the league action anyway in a couple of weeks' time. So tough games will come thick and fast, and you have to grind out results in tough places in that league, and they've done that Saturday. So hopefully that'll get them over a barrier now.
And actually, Gordon, listening to what Tony Pennock... Sorry, Tom, but you come in just to say, listening to what Tony's had to say, I think he has been quite positive, hasn't he, about the performances. There've just been moments in matches where it's not quite happened.
Yeah, they've lost by the odd goal, with the exception of the 4-0 against TNS. But, you know, they've had a lot of injuries as well, and I'm not making excuses for Hartwest County, but they've had some key players missing. Henry Jones, Corey Shepherd came back on Saturday. He only played the last couple of minutes, to be honest with you, but it was great to see him back. He's such an influence in midfield as well. But Tony Pennock knows he has to have his strongest 11 to play in every game, to be honest with you, at this level, to have a chance of getting anything out of it. And when you're depleted with injuries, and that's no disrespect to the boys that come in, because they do work their socks off, but it's such a tough league, and we say it week in, week out, that every game is tough, and they are. But we've got to pick up points along the way, and hopefully that's the start last Saturday.
Yeah, which they kind of need. They haven't got a home fixture this month, so to start off this month's campaign with the 3 points. And I'd got a chance to chat with Tony on Thursday when he was being gunged for children in need. And as Gordon's already said, he's very calm, and he says about the spirit of the squad. I think what you'd really like is some more goals and open play. Is what they're still lacking. Yeah. That's what needs to change for the county.
And no home game. You shouldn't really underestimate that, because some of those journeys that the West have to make they're long journeys, aren't they? As well, into Mid and North Wales. So that was a good 3 points for the Bluebirds. Tom, I actually noticed you got gunged as well, didn't you? And you only put a tenner on your head as well. Blimey.
Well, I foolishly thought that no one carried cash around anymore, so I was like, for £10, if you donate this, and someone taps me on the shoulder, it's like, here you go, here's the cash. So it was a cold afternoon in the end.
I'd have gone to 20, I think, for you. Right, some of the other football, Fraser. It was cup action, wasn't it? In the West Wales Intermediate Cup second round, and the FAW Amateur Trophy for Hakin as well. A couple of interesting results and some good performances from some Pembrokeshire sides.
Yeah, some good ones actually. Like I said, I watched Goodwick against Clydach, a West Wales Premier side, and they were comfortable actually. They led 2-0 early on, added 2 more goals in the second half. It was men against boys' jobs, and it probably actually questions, what Gordon thinks, the meritocracy of that so-called West Wales Premier. I mean, I thought that was a gamble at the time when they created that league, and inadvertently now you've got a situation where you've got a so-called Premier League, and you've got better sides in their localised league, Carmarthen and Pembrokeshire, than are in the Premier League. We've already seen Penlan also in that league, hammered at Hakin earlier this season as well. So good, it got the job done. They are well accustomed to that West Wales Cup competition now and getting through. And Hakin as well, a good result for them in the FAW Trophy, after going to Trostra. I think a little bit of late disruption, because obviously they had grass there. Trostra wanted to keep the game on, moved it to a 3G surface late on, which I don't think was ideal, but Hakin got through there. But also, shout out to some of the lesser mentioned as well, Clarbeston Road and Milford United. Good wins on the road in that competition. I know we heard from Andrew Burgoyne in the first half of the show, and he admitted it's not the priority for a Division 2 club like Milford United, but you can have some good away days. My only worry for Andrew is, as you heard in the interview, they left off team up in Swansea, so I did say I hope you get them back in time for next Saturday. But yeah, no, look, it's a good competition, the West Wales Cup, because even if you're in a lesser side, even if you have little chance of winning it, which without being patronising, you could suggest to Milford United do, you can have some good days on the road, and it can boost morale, and I'm delighted for them.
You mean a good drink at the bar?
That
you
too,
mean,
Gordon.
Fraser?
That
Yeah, a
good.
bit of team bonding.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask you, Gordon, actually, have you got stories of playing in that competition?
Yeah, I have, but we can't say it on here. No, it's always great competition playing away. It doesn't matter where it is. It just gets the team bond together, and you enjoy a social as well after the game. Not that we were professional back in those days. See, we didn't have to worry about it, like. But
sure there
no,
was
it's
plenty of
important. I
bonding.
think it's good to challenge yourself outside the box as well, and that's what Pembrokeshire sides do. But you know, the other side, the flip side of the coin is that Hakin are in so many cup competitions.
Yeah.
I believe they've only played 4 league games, maybe 5.
And Hollywell Town this week, of course, in the Welsh Cup.
Yeah, and good luck to them in that one as well. But they're going to have so much catch up near the end of the season, which they've done on plenty of occasions, but it's the victims of their own success, aren't they? You know, and Goodwick United as well. They have the same problem as well. They normally do well in the West Wales Intermediate Cup as well. So if they get through the round, it's going to be difficult to keep up with the league fixtures, especially with the weather the way it is at this moment in time as well, where you get a lot of games off.
It's tricky, and if anyone watching wants to tell any stories about Gordon's team bonding days in the West Wales Cup, I'm sure there's some stories we'd like to hear. Just stick them up on the message; they'll all come up. Keep them clean, though, please. Thank you. We should also say well done, Kilgetty, because they had a big win, didn't they?
Yeah.
Division 1, 8-2 at St Ishmael's. That was a really impressive win.
Sorry, you go.
Yeah, no, you go on.
I just say we spoke about Kilgetty at the start of the season, didn't we? We didn't think they'd have any problems cementing a place in Division 1, and they haven't, you know, and look at now, they're on 9 points. It might be early to say there's no chance of them going down. I haven't even got them in the relegation pitch. Eaton Ishmael's, I would say, are in trouble now on 3 points after 7 games down there with St Clair's and Neyland around them, but they're going to have to pick up something soon.
Tish actually competed quite well on Saturday, Fraser. They were only 3-2 behind at one stage, but the latter stages of that game, they fell apart, and Kilgetty took them apart. And they conceded another 5 goals after that, and it finished 8-2. So, it's going to be a difficult season for Robbie Thomas, Mark Devnold, and Gerard Gray, the manager. Their manager. It's going to be a tough fight. Hope they'll fight. They've got plenty of fighting spirit down in Tish, but they're going to have to need it on the pitch and get some goals and stop conceding as many as what they have been.
Okay. 2 weeks' time, the World Cup will be underway, won't it? And I think we should just give Gareth Bale a mention, because he starred, didn't he, for LAFC at the weekend.
I thought it was Pete Gareth Bale, to be honest. He's been on the field for a few weeks. No one's heard anything of him. There's doubts over his fitness. A final comes along and the man comes around, doesn't he? He hadn't been used, had he? I don't think until the end of the first half of extra time.
And you wonder why he never played in the Premier League.
Yeah.
You guys, you fall for it every time. Let's play some easy football. I'll get to the World Cup and then do the business.
Yeah,
well, he came off the bench and scored in the 129th minute of the game. So there was 9 minutes of injury time.
Superb header as well.
Yeah, it's called Gareth Bale time, isn't it?
It is. And jumped a 6'6" man, though.
Yeah, and let's be honest, he is actually a very underrated headerer of the ball as well. He's very good in the air. Took it well. I mean, he looked pretty mobile celebrating, I thought. Did you see him? He's off into the corner celebrating. His team then won the shootout. Is there a concern? Because I hear today that he is a little bit of a doubt, but I would say he looked quite mobile to me.
Gordon's just hitting there on the head. I think it's got to the point where you might as well stop being concerned about Gareth Bale. He goes through these periods of inactivity. We have these doubts about his fitness, and he always seems to turn up for Wales. Look, I think there was a pre-agreement, wasn't there, with Los Angeles FC that they were going to manage his time anyway. Perhaps not to the extent they have. I suggest has been
especially
a little
injury time, Friday.
Yes, but you are right, Ben, with the way he wheeled away celebrating. He looked okay for me. So no, I think he'll be. I think there's bigger concerns at the moment around than Gareth Bale.
Do you think he'll be there come the start of the tournament? Yeah, he'll be in that side.
No doubt whatsoever. I think the biggest concern is our very own Joe Allen, now not played, I think, since I believe September 17th. I might have that date wrong. He won't play now before the World Cup. You know, it looks like if he is in the squad, his first action is actually going to be in a competitive game in the World Cup when he hasn't been involved for over 2 months at Swansea. So there's a deep concern over him.
Would you take him, Fraser? Did you have to take Joe Allen if he's anywhere near fit?
I mean, history shows, and if you're looking more at England than Wales with this now, taking injured players to a World Cup or a major championship doesn't end well. We've seen it with England, they've done it with Beckham and Rooney and so on. I think, look, it's a hamstring injury. You have got to be realistic about it. If there's any kind of serious doubts with a hamstring, then you aren't going to last. You aren't going to last if you're past 100% fit, and it'll be tentative anyway. He is an important player, so if there's a chance that he's fit for the second or even the third game, I think they may take that risk. But if you're looking at a situation where you're not going to have him available to the knockout stage, if you get there, then I think Rod Page has to make a brave decision then. And no one wants to see that, obviously. All of us are desperate to see him play in the World Cup. But, it's a real predicament for Page now.
What I find weird with Rob Page is that he's pretty much confirmed that he's going to bring Johnny Williams and Chris Gunter as well, who also aren't necessarily playing regular high-level football. If he brings Joe Allen as well, that's 3 players of your squad that aren't going to see much pitch time. Is that sacrificing it for the experience?
Then it is a 26-man squad, isn't it, now, at these tournaments? So it's slightly bigger than it used to be. So can you afford to gamble? And the Wayne Rooney, I think in 2006 didn't really work, did it? He looked half fit. I think Beckham in 2002 scored a penalty against Argentina, but did struggle from ability. And the one I did see was that David Brooks is going to hopefully go with the squad, isn't he? As a non-playing member.
Sure.
Good to see that he might travel. So all interesting stuff. Listen, we'll try and get a bit more on the World Cup in what's left of the show. If not, we'll come back to it next week when there will be a week to go, because there's plenty to talk about with Qatar, because we do have to take a moment, and then we're going to talk about another World Cup, because Lisa Neumann is standing by, having just represented Wales in the Women's Rugby World Cup, 2 massive games against New Zealand and a really nail-biting win against Scotland. Looking forward to talking to Lisa. So we will take a moment and then we'll come back for the second part of Pure West Sport. We'll chat to Lisa. It is Monday evening and good to be with you on Pure West this evening.
Eaton-Evans and Morris Solicitors have tradition.